I want to click a thing that makes my screen full screen so that there's no browser information on my screen.
Do F11.
What?
Do F11 for full screen.
Oh, frick. Okay, hold on.
You got to wake up. You got to wake up and get with it, pal. You're frozen now. This is not good. This is not good at all. Oh no. Oh goodness sakes. Gee willikers.
Can you hear me?
Yep, that was almost a catastrophe. Is what that was.
Okay. Why'd you do that to me? Why'd you meme me like that?
I thought it would. I literally Googled it and was like, oh, full screen F11, and it crashed instead. Let's talk Michael Garcia, okay? Because that's that's the big news of the week for Kansas City. So the Royals and Michael Garcia agreed to a 5-year, $57 million contract extension through 2030 with a club option for 2031. This deal can be worth up to $85 million with that club option and incentives. Congratulations, Michael Garcia. So
we love you, Michael Garcia. Everyone loves you, Michael.
Yeah. What do we think of that deal?
I absolutely love it. You might be familiar and you might recall my hot take that he is the best third baseman in baseball. Coming from the guy that didn't even start opening day 2025 behind Jonathan India. But I mean, after his year that he had, Gold Glove, basically number 2 in most statistics on the team besides home runs behind Bobby Witt Jr. and
Vinny and Salvi. Yeah, I like this deal a lot. It's something that honestly wasn't on my radar. I think earlier this year, less than 6 weeks ago, I was like, they really don't need to do that. And I was kind of in the camp of I feel like he needs to prove it because he played in 2024 and he kind of lost his starting position. And coming to 2025, and he's much improved, big highlight for Kansas City's offense.
Yeah.
So this is good for him. They buy out his arbitration years. It's a nice reward for Michael, and it's a very team-friendly deal. So that's kind of the big thing for me, because when we were talking about it before we knew the details, we were both kind of like, 5 years will be like $85 million. Like that seems about right. And then we saw that it was 57 just base.
Yeah, I was pretty sure
85. We're like 57. All right. But
I mean, to get like 10, what would that even be? Like $10.15 million a year guaranteed for Michael Garcia with his production and Gold Glove. Like, how?
Yeah. Perennial all-star, hopefully. Great defense, 350 on base percentage.
If he doesn't get snubbed on the all-star votes again.
Yeah. He was a replacement, wasn't he?
He didn't get it at first, and I think it took like a week for the MLB to announce replacements or something. And
yeah. So I'm looking at this deal, and you could go, oh, that was a little early for Michael, but
you could say that. I'm not saying that.
Well, you could, but I'm saying best case scenario is 3 years from now. We're talking about it going, wow, Michael is very, very underpaid for the production that we're getting for him. And we're like, wow, way to go, JJ.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario is we kind of have this Hunter Dozier 2.0 deal where guy has high upside, finally has a good year and is rewarded for that good year. Hunter Dozier, that happened in 2019. He had a good year, hit 27 home runs, and signed a 4-year, $25 million extension in 2021 after the COVID season. And at the time, you're like, oh, okay. And it was immediately, oh my gosh, this is the biggest mistake ever. Oh, now it wasn't a back-breaking contract, so that was good. But the Royals did have to walk away from that and eat some of that money. I don't see this happening with Michael. I think he's a much better player and has a much higher ceiling than Hunter Dozier ever did. Hunter Dozier, I will say, when he came up, or when he got drafted, he was kind of having Troy Tulowitzki comps, and I was like, oh my goodness, one of the best offensive shortstops in the game. That's going to be fantastic if he can do that. Obviously, Troy couldn't stay healthy for
who was comparing him to Troy Tulowitzki?
That was his comps coming out, and from a build standpoint, that's what he looked like. He was a shortstop coming out of college, and kind of had that Troy Tulowitzki build, and it made a lot of sense. It just never came to fruition. He didn't even get to the majors as a shortstop. I think he was kind of third base, first base was where that's how I remember. He's not even in the league anymore. But
yeah, I'll be honest, that was all news to me. Everything you just said was news to me.
Yeah, well,
but yeah, I completely agree. Maikel Garcia, I don't foresee that being the case with him, and if it is, it's going to be a extremely shocking and very sad moment for all of Kansas City who all bought into Maikel. But at the same time, it's a really team-friendly contract. So what's the worst that can happen? Are we going to blow up?
Yeah, see, that's that's the thing is nice. That's the thing is, like, if it ends up being, it's not an expensive contract is the thing. It's not like, ooh, we signed
and I would say, not to interrupt you, but I would say that with players like Maikel, it's not usually their defense that regresses either. It's their offense. And his offense was pretty bad in 24. 25 was a big jump. Like, what was it, like 70 points or something? I don't actually know. Don't quote me on that. But it felt like 70 points. At least the impact and the moment that he was hitting.
300 for much of the season. I don't remember where he finished, but
yeah, I think he was at like 286 or something like that. Gold Glove third baseman for $10 million. Like, that's a steal. You just hope that they have offensive production at this point, and we're paying him for both of those things. Like, you would argue that you value offensive production a little more than defensive production, which is fair because you don't win games, you don't score runs. But I am really happy that he's here to stay. He's a cornerstone of this team at this point. He's probably going to be hitting top 3 in the lineup for the next 5 years. So
yeah, we like it. So congrats again, Maikel Garcia. But that's not all that happened.
Oh man, let me get this. Let me get this one.
You go right ahead. This is your baby, and you've been dreaming about this day for a while. So
I've been dreaming about this day since the first time I ever saw this man take the mound. Ladies and gentlemen, the Kansas City Royals have traded away Angel Zerpa. You heard it. You heard me. He's out of here. He's freaking gone. I could probably count on my 2 hands the games that I've been to last season. And then I probably went to maybe like 8 games in 2024. I kid you not, over half of those games were blown by Angel Zerpa. My relationship with him is horrible. I cannot stand the man, and I think that I wish we could have traded him to what?
Let's explore that. Is that Angel Zerpa, or is it your fault? He's bad when you're there.
I mean, it's not like I'm cheering for him in the stands. I'm telling him to get his crap together, and he doesn't know how to do it. But yeah, we traded Angel Zerpa. He had a little bit of a better 2025. He's pretty up and down, but better 2025 and 2024. And we got some pieces. For him. We traded him for 2 players from the Milwaukee Brewers. We got back outfielder Isaac Collins and pitcher Nick Mears. Isaac Collins, Kansas City is his 3rd organization. He's been bouncing around a little bit in his short career. Selected by Colorado in 2019. Then in the Rule 5 draft, he was picked up, by Milwaukee in 2022. 2025, his statistics were he hit 263 batting average, 441 plate appearances in 130 games, and he was 4th place in Rookie of the Year conversation. So let's just pause. You're telling me that we got a 4th place Rookie of the Year voting person for the steaming pile of dung on Angel Zerpa? That alone is, I couldn't believe I literally saw the notification on my phone. It brought a tear to my eye. I could not believe that we fleeced the Milwaukee Brewers in such a beautiful way.
Dude, I was looking at Brewers Twitter while that was going on.
No way.
The fans are not happy. I'm gonna tell you this. They're like, what on? There are some people that are like, Zerpa's gonna be an all-star, but other people are like, what are we doing? Nick Mears he's a huge part of our bullpen. Isaac Collins has so much upside. This organization is so unserious, and how can I be a fan of these? How can I be a fan of the Brewers moving forward? And it was funny. It was funny, but
I hate to wish on someone's downfall, but there's not a person I would like to see out of the MLB more than Angel Zerpa. I hope that he crashes and burns.
Well,
Angel, if you're watching this, I hope that you are a good salesman so you can get into insurance after this. Because clearly you were able to get a team to think that you were worthy and valuable.
Tell us how you really feel about him. Woo!
Yeah,
hey, we have both fourth place finishers in Rookie of the Year in 2025 now with Noah Cameron and Isaac Collins.
Let's freaking go.
So we have good young talent.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's fourth place Rookie of the Year voting last year. The Royals envision him as of right now as their everyday left fielder. So versatility is an asset for him. He can play all kinds of different positions should he need to. So if the Royals, we'll talk about this in a minute. If the Royals continue shopping for a left fielder, there's stuff that we can do with Isaac Collins that will be productive. Along with that, he has great plate discipline and knows how to get on base. He has a 368 on base percentage in 2025, which was among the top in the league.
I'd like to real quick to point out on that he gets on base. Ann Rogers, shout out Ann Rogers, tweeted a quote from Collins saying, "I'm not necessarily going to have 100 RBIs every year, but I'm going to get on base for the big dogs and have them knock me in." That is verbatim what I want to be hearing. I want to hear that. And we have him, so I'm happy about it.
No, it's great. He'll be paired with Connor Dawson, recent Royals hire. His hitting coach, Connor Dawson, worked with Isaac Collins in Milwaukee and had a big contribution to his success in 2025. Having that pairing will be pretty awesome. And he's under team control until 2031. So we have him for quite a long time. So should it work out?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, should it work out, our outfield will be solidified. As far as left field is concerned, it'll be solidified for years to come. And the Royals haven't had, since Alex Gordon retired, they haven't had an outfielder, a left fielder that they really liked. They had Andrew Benintendi for a little bit, and he was fine. They tried MJ Melendez. They've tried a bunch of different things and haven't found a consistent piece there. So should Isaac Collins be the guy and the Royals don't make any other sort of moves, hopefully he works out. So, but
we do hope that the Royals are going to make a move, because they're still in talks of moving Bubich. People are rumoring Reagan's isn't going anywhere.
Yeah,
mark my words. But
there's a second piece of this trade that I think people are kind of overlooking, but I think is going to be really, really valuable for the Royals. So go ahead and break that down for me, Moses.
Yeah, so Nick Mears, no relation to the amazing legend Dan Mears, spelled Mears. He has above average fastball speed and kind of a slider curveball combo as far as his pitching arsenal. He had a 3.5 ERA over 56 innings in 2025. 46 strikeouts and only 13 walks. So great strikeout to walk ratio, something that relievers with the Royals tend to struggle with greatly. He was expected to be the middle to high leverage situation guy, just like he was with the Brewers. He may end up being like our seventh inning guy, depending on what we have with Urseg, if he's got something left in the tank. And Estevez is obviously going to hold down the fort as our closer. But he's under team control until 2027.
Yes.
So another guy that we have for a couple years to test out and see how he works out.
Yes, I am speaking MEE into existence for those of you that were around for HDH all those years ago. Mears Urseg Estevez is the 7, 8, and 9 combo that we want to see. I'm excited for him. I'm excited for him to be part of this bullpen and be a guy that we can lean on to show up in big situations.
So I pulled up a quick stat comparison for Angel Zerpa compared to Nick Mears. So innings pitched, Angel was at 64, Nick was at 56. And then to touch on the stats I gave, strikeouts and walks. Strikeouts, Zerpa was ahead of him by 12, but walks, Zerpa gave up 9 more and barely any more innings pitched. And the ERA was 4.2 compared to Nick Mears' 3.0, or 3.5, I should say. So, with hitters in position, the stats with Zerpa's worse. I'm just looking at these stat lines in comparison. I feel like we got a better pitcher than Zerpa, and we got an outfielder in addition to it. A serviceable MLB outfielder. Explain to me where the Brewers think they're getting, like, what value do they see in Zerpa over Nick Mears?
So Angel Zerpa, there's a little bit more team control, just 1 year Zerpa over Mears. So it could be a team control. We can make this guy better. Brewers have a really good pitching development. They're really good at it. So wouldn't surprise me if Angel Zerpa is great next year.
Well, you're trading 5 years of serviceable outfielder potentially and a pitcher that's kind of better than Zerpa.
But
one less year of Zerpa.
If you want to have a question, if you're a Royals fan and you want to have a question about Isaac Collins, you could go, why would the Brewers do this? It kind of tells you how they feel about Collins. Because there is fear of regression for him. Collins. Which, even if Collins...
I'll take the fear of regression over watching Angel Zerpa ever pitch the Royals again. I'll tell you what.
I think you're hyper focusing on Angel Zerpa. I'm more excited about the addition than the subtraction. For me, but over 130 games, he hit 263 in left field. That is far and away better than anything we ever trotted out in left field. So even if he goes out and hits 250 next year, Isaac Collins, it is great because his on-base percentage, again, 368. Let's say he brings it down to 345, 350. You're still like, holy smokes, this guy is getting it done.
Yeah. And I'd like to point out, addition by subtraction, we're going to add wins by subtracting Zerpa, which I'm all for, baby. Yeah. Get him the frick out of here.
Yeah, and I think this trade, Zerpa for Isaac Collins and Nick Mears, helps the Royals out a little bit because there have been talks about the Royals wanting Jarren Duran and Cole Reagans being what the Red Sox want. They've kind of been in a take it or leave it situation with that. And this move, like I said, I think the Royals would be happy if they go into 2026 and Isaac Collins is their opening day left fielder. But this gives them a little bit more leverage in the trade market, trying to find a left fielder, another left fielder that maybe would be better right now than Isaac Collins, because the Red Sox before this trade were like, take it or leave it, and now the Royals can go, well, we like Isaac Collins. We don't need Jarren Duran. We would like to have Jarren Duran, so we're not going to give up Cole Reagans for him. If you want to move Duran, give us another package. So this helps the Royals out tremendously in the trade market. So there's more positives than one for the Royals here.
Yes, I appreciate the big brain moment by Picollo and company. And I think that we have an even deeper outfield now with the signing of free agent Lane Thomas from the Cleveland Guardians. We only signed him for 1 year, $5 million. He was the second best option after Mike Yastrzemski signed with Atlanta. Lane Thomas, he suffered through a lot of injuries. He only played 39 games in 2025. he was dealing with a little bit of plantar fasciitis.
Plantar fasciitis, almost.
Plantar fasciitis.
It's a foot thing.
Yeah. Required surgery, so he had a bone bruise. He's hit by a pitch, so he was just dealing with it. 2025. Royals are really hoping that he can have bounce back year. His 2023, he had a lot of production, hit 28 home runs, stole 20 bags. Lane Thomas, he hit a grand slam in Game 5 against Tarek Skubal. I don't know if you guys have seen the statistic or the replays or if you were watching it, but it was an amazing late game home run in the championship series against Tarek Skubal, which no one saw coming. Lane Thomas coming up to bat. It's one of those situations where it's the last person you think is going to do well, and then boom, grand slam. So shout out Lane Thomas, kind of a dog out there. So his swing is gorgeous. I don't know if you've seen videos of his swing. That grand slam swing. I actually was watching that game when it happened, and I remember after putting together the short of Lane Thomas assigning him, I remember that swing. I remember seeing it being like, dude, that's beautiful. So yeah, he's also really good on defense. So, he might be one of those guys where you see him coming in instead of Jack Caglione in right field during late game situations where we're trying to hold on to a lead and maybe Caglione's a little slow for our liking, so they bring in Lane Thomas in right, something like that. But having him as a rotational piece might end up being really good for the Royals. We have a lot of guys that kind of fit that bill with like Blanco. I don't even know if he's on the team. I'll be completely honest. Let's check that.
I like the Lane Thomas deal because it's low risk, high reward. It's something that Moses talked briefly about his 2023 numbers with Washington. If he somehow finds his way back into that, then you're kind of like, whoa, we've got a crowded outfield, and Lane Thomas needs playing time somewhere, which is a good problem to have. So
yes,
I like it. Again, it's on the cheap, so if it doesn't work out, you're like, darn. But on the bright side, would have loved to have Mike Yastrzemski back, but the price point was honestly kind of ridiculous. So what were you pulling up?
So I was pulling up our roster to see who we still have. I don't know why I keep thinking of Dairon Blanco, but we don't have that guy anymore. So now we're rolling with Tyler Tolbert. Yeah, we got Tyler Tolbert, Isaac Collins, John Rave, Kyle Isbell, Cameron Misner, one of our signs this offseason. Yeah, and Jack Caglione. So
Misner.
Hardly know her. So what an upgrade from Tolbert and John Rave at the plate. I mean, we don't know much about Cameron Misner, hardly know her, but I already know that Isaac Collins is a big upgrade, and so is Lane Thomas. So shout out both of them.
Yeah, and so JJ Picollo has been busy.
Yeah,
which is what you love to see out of your GM. But I've been we've talked about it before. We've been very impressed with JJ Picollo and kind of what he's done and his pairing with John Sherman and kind of the vision for the Royals and creating sustainable success.
Yes.
And Moses, if you want, I want to go over some just JJ Picollo notable deals that he's kind of put together through his short time as GM. And I have, for me, kind of the first. So JJ Picollo he was named GM in 2021. Dayton Moore was promoted to president of baseball operations. Then the next year, Dayton Moore in 2022 was let go. JJ Picollo took sole responsibility of baseball operations to that point. So 2023 signs Aroldis Chapman. Aroldis Chapman kind of needing to have a comeback deal, prove it deal. Royals got him and traded him in June of 2023 for Cole Reagans, who Royals got a lot of team control left and ended up finding their ace. So that was first notable move for me. It was this kind of classic small market, sign a veteran that was a name at one point, try to flip them at some point in the season if they're productive. And this is probably, without really doing any research, in recent years, this is probably the best, most successful version of this, because Aroldis Chapman went to the Rangers, ended up winning a World Series with them that year, and Royals ended up really happy in their return with Reagans.
Yeah. Pretty crazy thinking ahead to get someone to become a trade piece and then trading them for your future ace. With how many years of control do we have with Cole Reagans for 1 year prove it deal for Aroldis Chapman?
Yeah,
That's
and
really awesome.
That's what's so awesome about those deals. If you're a club, if you have a smart GM and you're trying to build your future, that's where you have a team like the Texas Rangers that are like, we feel like we're gonna compete this year. They're more willing to give up pieces that they otherwise wouldn't in other years, because they're like, we got to win now, and you want to get talent, you got to give up talent. We say it a lot on here.
Yep. Well, I think my number one most notable deal that JJ Picollo made was the Bobby Witt Jr. extension. That was early 2024. Signed him to an 11-year, $288 million contract. Biggest contract by far that the Royals have ever made. And he's already outplaying that deal. Could end up as a 14-year, $377 million deal if Whit Merrifield, or I'm sorry, disgusting. If Bobby Witt Jr. takes the player option, and still 14 for 377 is a steal for Bobby's production. I mean, obviously he's not going to be the same player when he's 35 as he is right now, but he can only get. We've seen players evolve and become different kinds of players, which is totally fine with me.
Yeah, it's so interesting, the Bobby Witt Jr. deal, because one, man, I would not have wanted to see Bobby Witt Jr.'s arbitration numbers. They would have been insane. So glad that the Royals got this deal done. But also, when you think of like Shohei Ohtani, who you can make the argument he's the GOAT between him and Babe Ruth, right? Who got 13 for 700, obviously with the weird loophole and the deferred payments and all that, but
and all of his gambling winnings.
Bobby Witt Jr. would have wanted to wait until free agency. He probably could have been a $600 million man himself, if not more.
Shout out Bob. What a guy.
Shout out JJ.
Shout out JJ.
Yeah.
What a good little tandem they had. And then probably one of my favorite moves was Michael Wacha. I mean, we can have our conversation about Seth Lugo, but JJ Picollo also signed Michael Wacha and Seth Lugo in free agency. Both of them have just been studs they've been perfect starting rotation pieces for us. When, Seth Lugo was on the trading block earlier in 2025 because he was balling out, and, he regressed big time in the latter half of 2025, but still an awesome pitcher. His season numbers are still really good. I'm a big Wacha guy. I love Michael Wacha. I've loved him his whole career. I know you have too, Mr. St. Louis fan.
Yeah, he's when he came up with the Cardinals, I was a big Wacha guy.
Wacha.
But yeah, I mean, Royals trading for Lucas Erceg gave up 3 prospects and got Lucas Erceg. And a lot of the times what I look for is the team control that you get back. And that's what JJ Picollo's priority was one, a productive player, but also somebody that was under team control for a long time. And Lucas Erceg is under team control through 2029. So have him for a long time on a rookie deal. He's been our setup man, and hopefully we get a healthy Lucas Erceg in 2026. Because that's been kind of his thing. He had some shoulder stuff going on. And then Carlos Estevez, 2-year, $22 million deal at the beginning of 25, and he ends up being Royals closer and leads the league in saves. So just making the right moves. Now, we can sit here and talk about moves that JJ hasn't made, but every GM misses. So I don't want to do that.
But I am a big addition by subtraction guy. And I would real quick like to go over a small, quick list of some of the players that JJ Picollo did not pay or did not acquire. These are players that he chose to walk on. I'll just list them off real quick. So I'll go from least impactful, that's just a name, to big deals. So moved on from Randall Grichuk. We got him middle of 2025 to kind of just help us in our outfield. Didn't really matter. Taylor Clark, he just was going to cost too much money. Right-handed pitcher. Adam Frazier, we honestly might have wanted to bring him back, but with the addition of Lane Thomas, and we obviously had plans with Collins coming in with the trade, let him walk. He's up there in the years too. Luke Maley, his production at catcher was not there. He's just honestly super frustrating to watch. Hunter Harvey, he was plagued with injuries. He never did anything with this team. I know he was on our team, but he's one of those players. In 20 years, we're going to be name that random player. You say Hunter Harvey, and we're all like, oh, yeah.
I wanted him to work so much.
Yeah, same. Sam Long, we let him walk. Nick Prado, Kyle Wright, that's kind of a bigger one. But letting Hunter Dozier walk, that was awesome. We didn't let him walk. We got rid of him.
Yeah, we DFA'd him. We ate money on that.
Yeah, we DFA'd him. And that's addition by subtraction. You're literally going to make yourself succeed more by getting rid of diseases. And last but not least, probably arguably the two biggest letdowns of 2025, Hunter Renfroe in right field and MJ Melendez.
Well, yeah, I think, I would say Hunter Renfroe is JJ's biggest miss as GM, by the way. But no, I mean, that's the mark of a good GM is I am here, and I don't want to knock Dayton more, but we've talked about it before. He's a big loyalty guy. He wants to reward his players for loyalty, and he likes, he keeps guys longer than he should. Where JJ's seems like I am going to do what is best for the Kansas City Royals, regardless of how I feel about this person, right? It is baseball first. Does player X make the Royals better? Yes. Okay, let's explore options with him. Does he not? No. All right, let's figure out an exit strategy for this guy.
Literally.
That's the difference between winning and losing.
Yeah.
So,
and we've talked about it almost every episode. Every time JJ Picollo's name comes up, I just love when people do something. When people do something, when they see something wrong and they do something, that is the mark of a good leader. And I am loving it so far. This guy is JJ, you have my heart. You traded Zerpa, dude. You could have only done that for the next 3 years, and I probably would have thought you were a successful GM.
Man, that's tunnel vision if you ask me. But hey, that's kind of, I know there's been a couple other small transactions that the Royals have made over the last week that we can get into another time that aren't as high profile as what we spoke about. But
Jose Quaz, you don't want to talk about Jose Quaz?
I got no notes on Jose Quaz. So
good.
So I want to look at kind of our off-season calendar that we've been referencing, and Moses kind of give us an update on where we're at there.
Yeah, so I know we're only 6 or 7 weeks out of the World Series, but we're already zooming through this. I know we're already zooming through this off-season calendar.
I'm looking for a new co-host if anyone's interested.
He's just jealous of my aura. So early November, fresh out of the World Series, we had free agency. We had the GM meetings, qualifying offer deadlines, non-tender deadlines. But this last week, we just got through the winter meetings. And in the middle of the winter meetings, the draft lottery happened. The Royals are picking number 6. Shout out to the draft lottery for finally actually doing something good for the Royals. Fun fact, the last 2 times the Royals picked at number 6, we got Zach Greinke and Jack Caglione. So if we can get someone that sexy, hey, bring them in.
Yeah. Zach Greinke, Hall of Famer, probably.
Yeah, Jack Caglione,
hopefully not a bust.
I hope he does get a bust in the Hall of Fame.
There you go. They get plaques in Major League Baseball's Hall of Fame, but that's neither here nor there.
No. He'll get a bust in our Hall of Fame, in the Royals Hall of Fame. Did they do that?
I don't think they do plaques.
I don't think they do. Frick.
Stupid.
Then at the end of that week, at the end of the winter meetings, they did the Rule 5 draft. That's kind of where players that have been with the minor league systems for a long time can kind of get poached by different teams. And the Royals did not make any moves, and all of the players that got moved around you've never heard of. So I'm not going to sit there and harp on that. But the next one isn't until the beginning of the second week of January, actually. So January 8th, arbitration filing deadline. January 15th is the international signing period. And then February is when all those arbitration things get resolved and the start of spring training. So we're in it. We are, from now until then, trades will be happening. Moves will be made. Baseball non-related things will be getting handled, such as the stadium. Brandon, did you see what's going on in Kansas? Did you see the protests? I just so happened to be watching the news, and I literally see people protesting with signs talking about not bringing the Royals to Kansas. I thought everyone loved the Royals. Frick's going on, Kansas? All you Kansanites.
Yeah.
Kansanians. Whatever.
Let's dive into that. I think they're just Kansans. I don't know what.
Kansans? All you Kansans.
So
what's wrong with you Kansans?
We've discussed kind of the potential landing spots for the Royals' next home: Washington Square Park, North Kansas City, Leawood. We know the Crossroads location that got voted down 2 years ago. But I want to talk specifically, about that Kansas location at the Hesperia campus near 119th and Null. Because, as you stated, the locals are not happy about it. And I want to read a piece from the city leadership of Leawood. This is from fox4kc.com. So bear with me for a second. So, quote, "The city of Leawood supports keeping the Kansas City Royals in our region. However, the city council and I being Leawood Mayor Mark Elkins, cannot at this time support the Overland Park Hesperia campus as an appropriate location for Major League Baseball. Based on direct feedback from our residents, we share serious concerns about the potential impacts on Leawood and its citizens should a stadium be built on this property. These concerns include traffic congestion, noise and lighting, public safety and emergency access, parking in residential neighborhoods, infrastructure capacity and impacts on nearby schools, medical facilities, senior living, and established single-family residential areas. These concerns have been amplified by the state of Kansas's lack of transparency regarding any plans for the site, which has eroded trust that the residents' concerns will be heard and meaningfully considered. We are further troubled by public statements from T-Mobile and the Jewish Community Centers Association, two institutions that are vital to the economic and cultural fabric of this area. Their expressed concerns about the proximity of a stadium and the negative impacts they anticipate underscore the broader risks associated with this location. So, given the concerns raised by residents and the opposition voiced by key institutions, as well as the lack of information regarding the project, Leawood cannot at this time support the location of a stadium at the Hesperia campus." So, I want to... There's some I want to hear because you haven't heard that yet. I want to kind of hear your initial thoughts on that.
My initial thought is Royals are going downtown. That's what I'm hearing. You're selling me that, and I'm hearing the Royals are going downtown. I mean, that would have been a fine location. I mean, impacting residential areas, hearing fireworks and noise. I mean, the congestion of traffic. I mean, I've driven on Null during rush hour. I hate the lights. They would have to figure something out. They can't just use those roads. But I mean, that's big. That's essentially the people are gonna get what they talk about. Like that's why we keep saying make your voice heard, leave comments. That's why we all want to talk about it and make everyone say something. I mean, let us know down below in the comments what you think about that. Cause if you're a Kansanite or Kansan,
yeah,
then I want to hear what you have to say about that. Cause I did not expect to hear that. I thought that everyone wanted them no matter what, but I mean, shout out to that mayor for just listening to his people. I mean, you're serving the people, and if they don't want it, then they don't want it. I mean, I wouldn't, if you're telling me the Royals are going to build a stadium in my backyard, I'm not mad at all. That's awesome.
My big takeaway for me that stuck out to me when I was reading that was the frustration over the lack of transparency from Kansas. And because I think everybody that's kind of been involved in this, all of the citizens can relate to that. Not necessarily from Kansas's lack of transparency, but the Royals' lack of transparency.
Yeah, that was the whole reason that the last vote didn't even pass, was because everyone was saying, put together a real package and give us real plans this time, and maybe we'll consider it.
We're almost 2 years removed from that vote, by the way. April of 2024 is when that vote took place, and it has been crickets since then. We have heard nothing other than here's the places we're looking at, right? And honestly, my question for you is, the lease runs to 2031 at Truman Sports Complex. It's kind of getting to crunch time. So when do you see the Royals making an announcement of the Kansas City Royals intend to move here, and we are moving forward with whatever the process is of how that will work?
I mean, what I expect and what I hope are two different things. I think realistically, they'll probably let us know by at least the end of 2026 for sure where they're going, and they're going to give us an idea of when ground will be broken. I would hope that they're going to announce it before the beginning of the season. I mean, we've been saying for the last 2 years, give it a couple months and they'll give us another answer, and they have not. Every step of the way, it's been, oh, this thing didn't happen, or this delay has happened. So now with Colin Maxey helping do some of these talks, and with Frank White not being in Jackson County, maybe some of the Missouri side stuff will be expedited a little bit. Maybe some of those conversations will be more fruitful. But for Kansas to close that door, I mean, Kansas isn't closing the door. Yeah. Leawood and that location is now off the table. And if they're going to pursue a Kansas, if they're going to
off the table, it's not off the table because I don't think they need a vote there. I think they just don't support it locally. The local municipality and residents don't support it. I think if Kansas and the Royals want to go there, I don't believe they need a vote. And Kansas and their star bonds can set something up for the Royals. But that would be a funny thing to do with how little support you're getting from that local area.
Yeah, I don't think I would encourage you to go against the city that you're moving to, because you're going to have to get a little bit of people from there. I mean, it's only 20 minutes, 12 minutes from Kaufman currently. So it's not far, but I mean, last thing, I don't know if I would encourage that. That's a good point. When you told me that, I was just hearing that that's kind of off the table, but I guess you have a point that it's not off the table. But to go completely against the mayor and the people's wishes would be kind of crazy.
Yeah, be just a big middle finger to them. We're going here, but so you said at the latest end of 2026. So on this timeline, I was kind of like, man, surely they're going to say something by the end of 2025. My hope is that we're going to spring training and John Sherman's like, hey, I got something to say, because in Kansas, I don't believe they need a vote. But in Missouri, you're probably going to need to go to a vote somewhere. So you want to lay out your plan, give enough time for everything that has to go into that, get enough time for the people to understand it and for it to get onto the ballot, whether it be April or November, and then pray that you get a yes vote, because then you're breaking ground in 2027, wherever that is. And you have 3+ years to build it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think the Royals will break ground until 2027 regardless, because of the World Cup coming. Yeah. And I don't think they're going to be starting the biggest construction project in Kansas City over the last how many years and be doing that while we have the most people that Kansas City has ever seen. Yeah. So 2027 is for sure. And I think I'm with you. Before spring training starts, when I said before the season starts is when I hope they say like they're intending on going somewhere before spring training. So,
6 weeks from now, a little longer than that, but 2 months from now, actually.
Okay. Yeah. So Valentine's Day. Tell me your intentions, Johnny.
Yeah.
Johnny Sherman.
And I mean, then if you're, I mean, you hope that should it go to a vote that you get a yes vote, because if they get another no, one, I mean, the likelihood of the Royals going to Kansas just is skyrockets. But two, then you have to and I don't think John Sherman would do this, but then you kind of get in your head of, oh gosh, they're gonna move to Nashville or whatever random city, right?
Because that'd be 2 votes that
Kansas City. A little nervous as a Royals fan.
Yeah, because that'd be 2 votes that Kansas City shot down, and that's intimidating. I mean, it's hard to think that the city loves you so much whenever they're saying they don't want you there. So that's a good point.
All right, that's but that's the latest on the stadium talks. I know you had something you were wanting to bring up, so let's hear it.
Yeah. So, not baseball related, but I had an experience this week that really made me think about how badly this needs to be. It's 2025, and this needs to be something that is addressed soon, and our culture needs to change. Okay. So, earlier this week, I had a meeting with one of my teams. And the morning of, I wake up and I look outside and there's a raccoon sitting off the side of the road, just sitting there. I go outside and the raccoon is distraught. It is clearly not right. Something has happened to this raccoon. It might have gotten hit by a car. It might be injured. It might be diseased. I don't know what it is, but the raccoon is not in great shape. All right. I go over and I feed him some peanuts, and he likes them. He's just nibbling on his little peanuts over there. But I can see that he has laborious breathing. I spend the next 2 hours from then on trying to find out who to call to come help this raccoon. I am not a veterinarian. I am not an animal.
Had distemper. I think that's what the raccoon had. So anyway, yeah.
I legit, until the time I literally had to clock in, I was figuring out who to call, what to do here. I was trying to, avoid just straight up calling animal control to come pick him up, because I was assuming they would just euthanize the little guy. I didn't know what the deal was. Shout out Lakeside Animal Rescue. They pointed me in the right direction. So after all this work I did in the morning for this little raccoon, these gentlemen come and they pick him up. They pick him up, put him in a nice little carrier, and they go off on their merry way. What's going on with the raccoon? Is he dead?
I think the raccoon went to the farm. That's what it sounds like.
Did he go to okay, buddy. Did he go to the farm? Is he with the mailman? Is the raccoon alive? Is he in heaven? Is he 6 feet under? Like, I need an update.
Yeah.
So here's my
raccoon.
Here's my qualm and my hot take. It's 2025. In 2 weeks, it will be 2026. This is America. We are in the age of communication. How on earth has America not evolved to a time where you can take the extra 60 seconds to exchange information and get information that is significant to you? This goes for police matters. Whenever something happens and you call the police on something and you just don't know what happened and they're like, we'll handle it, don't worry about it, go home. I'm calling you because I want to fix a situation. If I don't know the situation's fixed. I'm just trusting you to do it. What if you didn't fix it? You might not fix the situation. I am entitled. If I'm going out of my way, taking my time out of my day, I am entitled to an explanation and an update. I deserve that.
I don't know if I agree with that.
But not only police, but like everyone else, whether it's you got your order wrong at a place and you make a complaint so you can get it corrected. Did that manager go and tell the person that screwed up that they got a complaint? Like, what happened to accountability? Okay, I'm just trying to keep people accountable. And also, how hard would it be? How hard would it be to have like some kind of follow-up system where you pay some intern that only does it for 2 hours a day out of once every 2 weeks, where they do follow-up calls where they say, hey, just so you know, we're leaving a voicemail, or like they literally just record it in the office and they say, hello, this is blankety blank from blankety blank. I'm following up on the call you had, just letting you know the raccoon went to heaven. Sorry about that. Thank you for your call. Goodbye. That's one call that took me 7 seconds to say, and you're telling me that they can't do that for every situation? Like,
I think everybody's different, because for me, I couldn't care less. Respectfully, I couldn't care less what happens to that raccoon, because I did my part, right? I called animal control or whoever and then entrusted them to do whatever it is they're going to do with that raccoon. It's off my conscience at this point, right? That's kind of my thought. If I call the police in a situation and then they come out and take care of it, I called the police. Off my conscience, I don't care anymore. I'm going on about my day. And,
solution.
And good luck to everybody that's involved moving forward.
Solution and action. Would you like a follow-up? No? Okay. Thank you. Goodbye.
But I think
or action.
I don't think everything
like
merits I don't think everything merits a follow-up. I also don't I think you're wrong in the thought of like, if you call the police, that you're required to have some sort of follow-up from law enforcement. I don't think that that's true.
Well, that's just I just wish that we had that. I mean, call me crazy. Not just police, it's everything. When we are all so used to being able to have information at our fingertips in seconds, and then the thing I spent a whole morning on, I can't get it. I mean, if I called the animal hospital, maybe they would tell me a little something. It just feels weird. It just feels weird that we are where we are.
You want closure. Society. You want closure. That's what it is.
Yeah.
You spent time on this. You just want to see what the outcome was. And I get that. And we're different. And I respect that. Maybe I just don't have a heart, because I'm like, he probably died.
I mean,
anyway, I'm going to go eat some Cinnamon Toast Crunch or something now. Are you glad? You got that off your chest?
Yes.
You know, rest in peace to Mr. Raccoon.
No, he's with the mailman, bro.
Yeah.
It's on the farm. That's it. That's my 2 cents.
All right.
Brandon,
hey.
What?
Are we ready to get out of here?
I'm ready to get out of here. You got anything else?
I just wanted to say, shout out John Cena. Congratulations on your retirement, sir. The greatest of all time. Hung it up over the weekend.
We can't see him because he retired. That's it.
That's all I got.
Peace.